Dana.
Raegan?
Do you believe in capital punishment?
Wow.
Stereotype, what the hell? Hold my hammer while I fix my nail. Put me in a box like to see you try. Don't tell me I'm just one of the guys. Turn the speakers up, gather round. It's time again to listen to the sound of sweet little lady.
So, I will tell you that I remember watching a presidential debate where Bernie Sanders was asked that.
Okay.
And he just said, like, look, there are some people who have committed very heinous crimes, but I don't know that the government should be involved in their killing. Like,
Right.
and that made sense to me where it's just like, it's just like one more thing added.
The sirens that are persisting throughout this conversation.
So, I mean, I don't have a hard stance. It made sense to me what he was saying, like, let's not add more killing.
To the murder around us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, if a man who, like, raped children gets the death sentence, I'm not going to be upset. Raegan, get the fuck out.
Wait, I'm going to turn the mic down. Just a wee bit. We're a little hot.
How do you feel about capital punishment?
Is this still good for you, podcasters? To my mom, who's the only person who's gonna listen to this. Do I believe in capital punishment? Ooh, that's hard. That's hard.
Right? I don't know.
I don't think I'm qualified morally to have an opinion on it.
What do you mean?
I don't know that I don't know that I am a person with the most scrupulous of morals that I could presume to understand the importance of the human life. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people make their decisions based on capital punishment purely from like a worldview, like I'm with this religion, or I'm atheist and, you know, human life doesn't mean anything to me. Good for you, douche. Like, we get it, you're sad.
Right, but like what does a human life...
I'm 25, Dana. I don't have to have this all figured out.
You asked me. But you know what? You made me think of... Thank you so much. When I had jury duty and I was put on a murder trial.
Say jury duty again.
Jury duty. Are you getting off on that? And I was put on a murder trial.
Shut up!
And...
How the fuck have you never told me about this?
I'm so sorry. So, we didn't go through the whole trial. We went through like a day of the trial, and then he had one more chance to take a plea deal, and he took it. So,
of course he did.
But here's the thing. In the opening arguments, you know, the prosecution laid out what they hoped to prove as best they could. If they had been able to do that, I would have found him guilty. But what's weird is even knowing that, hey, if the prosecution did that, I would think he was guilty of taking a life. I was uncomfortable just having to be a part of this thing that decided what was going to happen to his.
Being a peer is so hard, even when you're a coworker. Who did the founding fathers think we were, right? They had so much faith.
They did not know the world was going to be like this, and that's a whole other thing.
Dana, did you do something this week that made you feel like a sweet little lady?
Well, Raegan, it's not even anything that in-depth, but I will say, when I go to my day job, I gotta park far away, and then I gotta walk a long while from my car to my actual place of work.
Okay.
And lately I've just been feeling like a friggin' badass walking in this leather jacket that I have. I think you're familiar. In my sunglasses.
Yep.
with the wind in my hair.
Damn straight.
Just thinking my own thoughts.
And that made you feel like that.
I felt like a sweet little lady.
Yeah, that's a fucking sweet little lady right there. I love it.
What about you, Raegan? What made you feel like a sweet little lady this week?
What did I asked you this question without any idea of how I would respond. Two things. One, when I was walking here, I got behind two gentlemen who were on they're like they're like rascal scooters, like when you can't walk long distance. Yeah. But it was great because we were like in a caravan.
Oh.
And they were like chit-chatting with me a little bit, and we were just having a little riff, and made me feel safe, and also it was delightful, and I was in a caravan with two men in rascal scooters. And they were joyous, and then
they were joyous. I feel like you just meet and talk to people everywhere you go.
Yeah, they're all over.
They try to avoid them.
Try, but you can't.
Try, but I might. Yep.
And then the other day I was at the gym and I forgot. This is not a sweet little lame moment. I went for a run and I was planning on showering at the gym and then going out after that to a public place, and I forgot to pack extra undies. So I had to go bare-butted in my jeans, but it was weirdly liberating.
That's a sweet little lady moment.
I don't think I've gone commando since I was just a baby, and my mom like took off my undies to like put me like change them or something, and I just ran away and I was like, you're not gonna put undies on me, Marsha,
Yeah, and now you're like, this represents society, not...
And now I'm an underprepared 25-year-old woman just trying to get fit.
Underwear be damned. Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't let it hold you back.
Yeah, not an everyday thing for me. I'm sure there are some people out there who dig the no undie movement. Good for you. But I like that little extra comfort around my cush.
Well, and it's kind of like the whole point of this thing is like, wear underwear if you want.
Yeah.
Don't if you don't.
Anyone's a sweet little lady. You just gotta be you.
Mm-hmm.
Accept yourself. Do what you want, and also don't have a theme or a topic. That's what this podcast is all about.
Find it along the way.
Just bullshit a little buzzed with your buddies.
Yeah, just have fun with the bud.
Goddamn right. Goddamn right. So first of all, this is Sweet Little Ladies. I'm Raegan Niemela.
I'm Dana Ehrmann.
We're here to bring you some topics.
And if you don't mind me saying so, Raegan, this week's topic is food.
Stoked.
And the title of this episode is Food for Thoughts. And no, I'm not saying thoughts. I'm saying thoughts. Google it. Okay?
Get with it. Believe the hype.
Because I'm not going to say what it is.
And I'm not going to spell it for you.
Urban Dictionary, do your thing.
Thoughts. And it's not going to be in the title when they read it.
No. Figure it out.
This is all. But yeah, we want to talk about food because I'm very into food. Like we talked about Dana's sports. Dana's very into sports. Food is kind of my sport.
And honestly, I'm really anxious about this. Talk about food. I am.
Why are you anxious?
Because it's embarrassing, my relationship with food. In fact, can I call you out on something here on the podcast? I was dining with someone last night, someone we both know and love. I won't say their name.
Okay.
And
it was Elijah.
It was
not my boyfriend.
It was not.
Okay.
And she was surprised that we would eat at the restaurant that we were eating at because she's like, Raegan told me that all you eat is Cheez-Its. And I want to say, how fucking dare you know me so well enough to say that?
Dana, to be fair, this is the first time I've come to your apartment and there's not a bag of Tostinos like on there. Not of Tostinos. What are the chips? Like there's no corn chips on the ground of your apartment.
Yeah, they're on top of the fridge. They're not on the ground.
Out in the open. Out in the goddamn open.
So yeah, where do you get off just telling anyone you meet that I only eat Cheez-Its?
I get off every time I walk in this apartment and I see Cheez-Its on the floor.
That shook me to my core.
Okay, what restaurant were you at, though? Hey, also, like, even if Cheez-Its are a main part of your diet, that doesn't mean that occasionally you don't like to partake in a charcuterie board, you know? Which I would say is the grown-up Cheez-It.
You know, okay, slow your roll. We were at Snack Boys in Walker's Point.
I've actually never been.
So. I recommend.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We're their boys. We're their snacks. We're their snacking boys.
Look. Listen. I'm not going to confirm or deny.
That's from a different podcast. We can't use that. That's from a podcast I listen to. It's My Favorite Murder with Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstock. Please listen. It's a true crime podcast.
But so you're just ripping off other podcasts?
I didn't mean to do it, but they do it all the time where one of them will go, look, and the other one will go, listen. And it's like, now it's like a thing in my day-to-day life where if somebody says, look, I immediately go, listen.
Well, okay, so there were boys, there were snacks, and there were snacking boys.
And there were snacking boys?
Yeah.
God damn.
And snacking girls.
That was kind of anticlimactic at the end of that whole thing.
So, yes. Good. Okay.
So, what is the first thing you want to talk about? I kind of want to let you drive this because... One, I'm disorganized, and two, I don't even have my notebook with my notes in it, and two, I want to see where you're at with food because I think I know very much where I'm at, which was probably your same situation, so that's a shit excuse. What I'm saying is, you go first because I'm disorganized.
Well, okay, let's talk about origins. I feel like that's how we normally start a topic, is talking about, like, how did we get where we are today?
With food. Mm-hmm. That's a good topic.
And I've always been the pickiest eater that I know.
Really?
Yeah, like, growing up, I was a nightmare in that way. Like, I guess... Every time we would have a family meal, you know, your parents tell you gotta eat that, whatever it is.
Yeah. Clear the plate, right?
Yeah. And I guess what you're supposed to do is just say, like, you're not eating anything. Like, you're eating this, or you're not eating. But my dad would always cave, like, pretty easily and make me, like, a PB&J or a grilled cheese. And so I never really had to... And so... I pretty much subsisted on peanut butter and jelly for a lot growing up.
Yeah.
And then, God, this is so fucked up.
Uncrustables? Were you an Uncrustable kid? You love PB and jelly, you gotta love those Uncrustables.
What are you, a shill? They pay you? No.
If we could get that sponsorship, Smuckers, that would be great.
Yes, please get back to us on that. Yeah. This is so fucked up. I had a show over the weekend, and actually my childhood best friend showed up. I didn't know she was going to be there, but she was. It was very cool.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of reminiscing about some stuff, and she asked me, like, Dana, do you still eat Cheesy-Annas? And
what the hell is a Cheesy-Anna?
That knocked me off my socks that she would even remember something as ridiculous as that.
Yes.
Like 20 years later. But a Cheesy-Anna is just your classic hamburger bun with a Kraft single on it, or in it,
right?
And you just dip it in ketchup. And pretty much, let's just say that basically until college, I would eat a peanut butter and jelly for lunch.
Okay.
And 2 Cheesy-Annas for dinner.
No breakfast.
Oh, well, I would have, like, Cheerios for breakfast.
Cheerio breakfast. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, every time we start recording, when I am failing at checking levels, I'm sure all of you have noticed how shit quality this audio is. DIY to the max. I asked Dana what she's had for breakfast that day, and every day Dana's never had breakfast.
Yeah, these days I don't wake up early enough, but I would have Crispix or Cheerios.
Honey nut Cheerios?
No,
or
just
plain?
Just the plain.
Same. All the way.
Why mess up a good thing?
That's right. Everybody needs good grains.
Get those grains. So, really, until college, that was every day.
So what changed in college?
Not a ton. I would even venture to say that...
Discovery of the Cheez-It.
Well, no, I mean, of course, you know, things like Ritz crackers, those were always snacks.
Right. Very diverse. Cheerios, Ritz crackers.
But here's the thing, is that it's so stupid because being that picky, I mean, it's bad for you, but in some ways it was good for me because it kept me away from, like, I wouldn't eat hamburgers or pizza.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. But then in college, this is the dumbest thing. I did a 2-week short-term study abroad course in Puerto Rico.
Oh, more things I didn't know about you.
That put me in a spot where, like, I had to eat what we were eating or I wasn't going to eat. And stupidly, we all just ordered pizza one night, and I was like, I guess I'll have this fucking pizza. And then I fell in love with it then.
Which is essentially softer, moister Ritz crackers Cheerio base with nom-noms on the top.
With nom-noms. And so, like, then in college, probably, like, between that and just the options that were available to me in the cafeteria and everything, I branched out to some of the shittier stuff I had avoided up until that point.
Right.
And now I just find, you know, little by little I just get better. You know, now that I'm the one, like, shopping for groceries and seeing what's out there, I'll try newer things. But, I mean, I've just been an embarrassment my entire life. I also never hear the end of it. Sophomore year of high school, for a friend's birthday party, we went to the Dells.
Yeah.
And knowing how I was, I had to come prepared. So I brought, like, my own loaf of bread and, like, my own Kraft singles.
Wonder Bread? White Wonder Bread?
And my friends laughed at me, and they still bring it up how I did that. So I feel very embarrassed about food, and those are some of the reasons why.
I don't think you should be. First of all, I don't mean to overstep, but I think it's a little safe to say I am more into cooking and diverse foods perhaps than you are currently. Is that safe to say?
Extremely safe to say.
Not no dissing in and of that. But to be honest with you, when I was young, what were your sandwiches called? Cheesy Annas? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I had a very similar diet as a young child. I was super picky, same. Basically subsisted on chocolate milk, hiding food in. We had a dining table in my my house that I grew up in, and it had drawers in it, and so I would shove the food that I didn't want to eat into the drawers when my parents weren't looking, because we had the clear your plate rule, and then I would go back sneak during when I was doing my homework at that same table later that night, I would like sneak it to the bathroom, throw it out. Very picky eater. Yeah, I was a conniving little shit.
Well, can we talk about some tricks real quick?
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about some tricks.
I would eat the Cheesy Annas, but, like, my mom would make me, like, eat, like, 2 baby carrots with it. And because I didn't even want to do that, I would, like,
Is it drink even worth the effort, Carol?
Right, like, just, look at me now. I would drink my milk and then, like, throw the carrots in the paper cup and then put my napkin on top of it. And throw it away, and it worked for a while, but then one day she just, like, took it and picked it up, and she was like, and I was like, oh, damn.
God damn it, Carol.
But, yeah.
Get back in the kitchen, Carol.
Hey.
Just kidding. I'm gonna love your mom so much when I get to meet her.
Oh, my God.
That's a good trick.
You know, we did what we had to do.
Yeah. We did what we had to do, for sure.
Yeah.
No, but I was very much like a bland eater, which is why I think that's when you are a kid and you are a bland eater, you have to defer to those sneaky things so that you can just like make it through the meal, because all you want is gushers and, you know, whatever, like blah. But no, I remember one time my mom got, I love certain foods, one always being bread. I'm a huge bread person.
Bread.
You were talking about your Cheerios, your Ritz crackers. I love a bland carb. I'm all into bland carbs.
Yeah. I mean, I have oyster crackers up here on top of my fridge. No salt.
You saucy wench. That is...
right? But that's what we're talking about. That's the epitome.
Or unsaucy wench, rather.
Yeah, no sauce.
But yeah, I remember one time we were driving out to camp, or as you hear in Wisconsin say, your cabin. In the UP, we just call it camp. And Yeah,
I say cottage.
We're not fucking hoity-toity bougie assholes. We gotta say, oh, I own a cabin. It's camp. God damn it. There's dirt and grass and stuff.
Save it for another episode, okay?
We'll do a UP episode. That'd be good. But it was like a 30-minute drive, and I ate an entire loaf of white bread on the drive out there, and my mother was irate. It was one of the few times I saw my mom that upset in a chilling way, where it was like, because we specifically went to the grocery store for that bread, and I didn't realize it though. I just thought, in addition to these other things, she got bread.
Yeah, you didn't know that was in
my 6-year-old mind, Mom got me a loaf of bread. But my favorite sandwich, you had your cheesianas, my favorite sandwich was white bread with a slice of Kraft American Single. You had me all the way there.
Yeah.
Screw the ketchup, though. I just like to throw on some mayo and then literally a full, I'm not saying like some onion, like a chopped full slice of the entire, this is me and my grandpa, man. I would eat American cheese, mayo, white bread, and just a slab of onion like a hamburger.
This
from
is when
a
I
very
wish
young age.
The podcast could pick up facial expression. Like, I wish that the
Dana
listeners
is disgusted
knew
and in awe.
And like, where the fuck do I get off, right? Like, after saying my shit, and then I'm like, what?
Yeah, ketchup, bitch. What are you with your ballpark toppings? Who needs that? I just need some solid mayo and my
onion.
And my grandpa was like proud of me. He was like, "You eat like I eat." I had an onion cheese mayo sandwich, like not recently, but probably in the last 6 months. I had one just for nostalgia's sake, and I was like, "This isn't fucking bad."
Well, you know what I will say is, we hope to do future episodes where not only are we talking about food, but we actually might make some stuff.
Yeah.
But I also think we should start out by eating your sandwich and my
sandwich.
Just to,
I feel like my sandwich needs a cool name. Can we brainstorm one?
Oh, absolutely.
Cheesianas because the cheese, yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, that wine. But yeah, we need what is it? Onions.
Yeah, it's not like we need a lot.
Shrek sandwich. We're just gonna call it the Shrek sandwich.
The Shrek sandwich.
The Shrek.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, I like that. The Shrek.
Speaking of stadium condiments, though.
Yeah.
I mean, so I was the pickiest for sure, but my brother Zach was not too far behind.
Yeah.
But we're very much a ketchup family.
I'm sorry, a West Alice family who's into ketchup.
Your UPS doesn't even know what that means.
It was too spicy. Ketchup was too spicy for the UPS. Yeah.
Too spicy, yeah. Heinz. Whew.
My dad just wants a tomato on there. That's all he can handle. A little bit of salt, maybe. Yeah.
Zach would totally, like, put some Heinz on a paper plate and just two-finger it. Right into his mouth. God.
Two-finger it is my favorite. Yeah.
Right?
Ranch two-finger, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Blue cheese.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Is that he was such a ketchup lover that one year for Christmas, my parents taped something that played on PBS. It was a documentary called Ketchup King of Condiments.
Ketchup King of
And
Condiments.
they gave it to him for Christmas. And it included interviews with people that loved ketchup so much that they would talk about mustard with such disdain. They would be like, those mustard people.
Oh my God.
And it was like,
yeah,
it really hit home.
This is crazy because I didn't realize this is a thing where people, this is like a Democrat Republican thing with some people. Yeah, Dana's putting her fist together right now.
Yeah, we gotta narrate.
Because Elijah, my boyfriend, and multiple of his friends have a hard stance against ketchup. Totally pro mustard, and I did not. I'm a free loving individual. I'll take all condiments, any condiments, whatever condiments you've got.
You fucking hippie.
Hell yeah, man! Free love, free condiments. I'm all about the sauce. Just give me whatever sauce you got, baby. I want it. I want that sauce. But yeah, it was, and same, but to go back to what you were saying though, it's the same, I had the same thing where I was a very bland eater, and then I was kind of just like a garbage eater. I will say my like most exotic food growing up was I love dill pickle chips, still do to this day. You put a bag of old Dutch, exotic food. Oh yeah, pickles and potatoes, very exotic. You put a bag of old Dutch dill pickle chips in front of me, and it's good night, because I'm gonna go eat that in my bed, probably watch something stupid like fucking Scandal. Eat my potato chips.
Scandal's another episode, by the way.
Throw back a glass of wine, have some heartburn, and pass out. Like, that's what I'm all about, yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, but when I got to colleges, that's when it changed.
That's, like, anything specific that changed it, or just...
For sure. Two particular things. I worked full-time through college. I worked in the dining halls at UW-Madison, because I'm pretending to be East Coast money, and no, I am not. But I worked in the dining halls, and we had some really great chefs there. A couple of them in particular had their own gardens, and they were really into growing their own vegetables. They would then bring those, and I don't think they were allowed to do this, but they would bring the vegetables they grew into the dining hall and make some kind of weird foods.
You're gonna spur an investigation at the UW.
Oh, I'm sorry. In our dining halls at University of Wisconsin, they're serving real food. No. we need our food to be as fake as our perceived fucking financial ability for all people to come, / we pretend to be diverse and we're not. It's all East Coast white people. That's what University of Madison is. I hate that.
Who think, the Midwest, quaint.
Yeah.
How quaint.
Yeah. Oh, how quaint. They're like, but we got like 3 black people, so we're good, right? We're diverse.
Sure.
Fuck off, Madison. It's like they just want to be a liberal bubble. We'll do an episode where I just bitch about how much I despise Madison as a university. There's like few things that get me riled up and angry, but that college is one, because it's some bullshit.
We should do a college episode too.
Yeah.
I don't know how
we need to be writing this down as we go. We need an intern. One who knows how to record sound well.
Can our intern just be Elijah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll just bring some cheese and crackers, put him in a corner, he'll be so happy.
Ooh, let me say one more thing about how shitty I am to this day, before we get into other aspects of food.
Right.
Is that because I ate the Cheesianas.
Yeah.
And because I would eat Ritz cheese crackers.
Yes.
And Cheez-Its and
yes.
shit like that.
Yes.
In a way, like, everyone would joke with me that I was just, like, the ultimate lover of cheese.
Were they wrong?
They're not wrong, but it's funny, like, now, as an adult... If you go around saying, like, I love cheese, and someone's like, what's your favorite kind? If you say Kraft Singles, turns out that's not legit.
And you can't do that in Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, you got to be like 5-year aged sharp cheddar. I love me some brie. You got even though brie's not like a Wisconsin cheese, yeah.
But it's like Kraft Singles are the OG.
Are your OG?
Yeah,
That's adorable.
Like, I don't know if I'm the best or the worst Wisconsinite, because I'm like, yeah, I love beer and cheese. Oh, what kinds? Kraft Singles and Miller Lite. So,
yeah, you are like the best worst Wisconsinite. That's
I know.
Fantastic.
Or the worst best. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It goes both ways, and to be honest, I don't think that's anybody's business. No.
Yeah, that's nobody's goddamn business.
Same thing. Like when we were talking about capital murder, none of us have the moral scrupulous enough to decide what's right and what's wrong.
This is very odd if you don't include our...
I'm gonna have to include the capital murder combo.
Otherwise, people are like, wait, did she just bring up capital murder? Like, I don't think they were talking about that.
Murdering felons or whatever, it's all the same.
Yeah, you know.
Casual references to capital murder are very, very in right now.
Look, you know what you signed up for with this podcast, and it's those things.
But yeah, the other thing that in college that got me really into, so we had some cool chefs with cool things, and then the other thing was is I got really into fitness in college and really wanted to eat well, because I know, like, being healthy, most of it has to come from just feeding yourself right.
Yeah.
Even more than, like, being all swole and whatnot in the gym or whatever you kids are into. I don't know. But yeah,
don't look at me.
It starts with your food. I just really got into, I like I started growing herbs and some veggies and
started growing herbs.
Oh yeah. No.
This is another time where it'd be helpful to see me.
It would be just doing the weeds. One of them jazz cigarettes. You know what I'm talking about?
Hey.
Is that a bad term?
I was told that it was.
Cut
that out.
No. I take full responsibility and apologize.
No, I use it. You know what?
I refuse to cover up my own, what do you call it? Ignorance. I was ignorant. And actually though, your face / I was just thinking about it the other day because I think I was watching Marvelous Miss Maisel with Elijah a few months ago. And no, I don't think that they said it, but I think I jokingly did, not knowing it was a bad thing. And I think I even saw Elijah tense up and I was like, is that a bad thing? And then I just didn't address it with him or Google it, which I could have easily done and taken care of,
Well, I didn't either. I never thought a lot about it.
Yeah.
Honestly, the first time I heard it, it was so funny to me because I didn't think it in the unfortunately possibly racist way that it might be used. But I thought it was being called that just because it's whimsical.
Yeah, it is kind of. It has that air to it.
That's why I liked it. And then I too said it once, and someone was like, "No."
Yeah, it's so hard to know these days.
Well, hey, we're learning.
We're learning, and we're correcting ourselves, so that's good. If you're offended, please email us at sweetlittleladiespodcast@gmail.com and tell me what a piece of garbage I am.
Frankly, if you're still offended after our heartfelt
correction and change of behavior,
go fuck yourself.
Then you probably just want to be mad. You should find some Facebook comment post that you can.
There are better people to be mad at who are not sorry.
But no, I just was growing normal herbs.
Yes, sorry.
A lot of parsley, a lot of cilantro.
Okay, yeah. Basil. Any basil?
Those jazz herbs. I'm bringing it back. I'm sorry. I did it. I'm sorry. I just wanted to bring it all back.
Audiences, now you can email.
Now you can be pissed. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Tag me. Yeah.
But okay, so like you're saying, it was being around cool chefs and also starting to get into fitness.
Yeah, healthfulness.
Well, that kind of is a good segue into... I mean, you want to talk about
I just cracked my neck real bad. Sorry.
Having a healthful eating relationship.
Yeah.
Like a good relationship with food. Where are you at?
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I don't know. I think everybody of all, I refuse to believe that this is a women's issue. I think everybody of all backgrounds and genders and blah has struggles with food, particularly in America, where we are just surrounded by garbage. That is essentially what is offered up to us, particularly in the grocery stores when you go.
Yeah.
So little of it is legit food, and the question of where's my food coming from, nobody fucking knows because everything's processed to shit. And it's always the worst quality of whatever ingredient could be put into this Dorito, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I want it, wait, what was the question? Let's back it up.
Well, no, all the things you're saying, we're talking about our relationships to food now, how we try to have a healthier relationship, but then kind of getting into how screwed up food is in America.
I was drinking too much. That was probably part of it. But I was just not feeling great, and I was actually running, I would run 6 to 8 miles almost every day, which was probably more than I needed to be. I was really trying to lose weight, and I didn't have a good body image. And this is what I was talking about, is how everybody has problems with food, is I think no matter what, as a dude, you want to be, your ideal as portrayed by society is to be masculine and big muscles and blah blah blah. With women it's to be slim and feminine and and so I wasn't achieving that even though I was putting in the work. And so I just kind of came to the realization, I took a good look at my food and what I was eating, and a lot of it was garbage. It was a lot of I would actually eat Weight Watcher meals. Actually, I wanted to mention that was part of my relationship with food early on, is my mother was a Weight Watcher leader.
Oh, okay.
And I think she did step up classes for a while or something like that. My mom's always been very slim, fit, ran marathons, And so, she did Weight Watchers too, and she's had struggles with food as everybody does. Yeah. So I thought, if I eat these Weight Watcher meals and these smart ones, you remember smart ones, lean cuisines, lean pockets.
Why don't you check my freezer, Raegan?
It's probably all that shit. 100%. But that, I think a lot of times that's like what is told to the average person, that if you eat this, it's good for you because it's only 400 calories and that's what you should eat for lunch. And that's bullshit. One, because all the ingredients in that are completely devoid of anything nutritious. It's also heavily processed, and I was just feeling like garbage, but also forcing my body to push itself to physical lengths that it hadn't been at before. So I was literally straining it in every way possible. And I wanted to get clean and just eat clean foods, and I got really into the clean eating movement, to be honest with you. But hey. Yeah, and I still to this day, like in college, I made make 2 loaves of bread almost every week, man. I was just really wanted to know what was in my food.
Yeah, like if I'm making it, I know.
Yeah. And support, then, do the whole hippie, liberal, bougie shit, which is support your local farmers and,
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of people hate the culture. I kind of hate the culture that's around it.
Well, with anything, there's always, a group of people that kind of take things more extremely and are kind of the ones where you're like,
this is my identity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe don't.
Cool. But what else about you?
I know I have a ton of problems with things you were just talking about, where everything I eat is garbage. It really is, though. I mean,
that's all right.
Everything is processed. It's like you're saying, anything in one of those frozen meals that they tell you is good for you just has nothing of value in it.
Yeah. Very much so.
And it's only, this sounds so dumb, but it's only now that I'm 26 that I'm actually, I haven't made any changes yet, but I'm actually starting to realize it's not a coincidence that I get stomach aches here and there. Yeah. To actually take notice of I feel like this after I ate this.
Yeah.
It's amazing that that could just pass you by until you start thinking about it more. Yeah. But
I think I had this written down in my notebook, and I'm not gonna look it up. But if you go to health.gov, they literally tell you that compared to other countries, the United States has the highest intake of sodium, the bad fats, which are, I believe, saturated fats, and then sugars. Yeah. And all of those. And I do also believe that part of the mental health crisis in America is tied to the fact that our food and what we put in our bodies makes us feel like shit. Because if you feel like shit physically, it is hard to have a good attitude and a good mental state. When you feel like garbage, you're going to also think like garbage. Yeah.
I think about that a lot. When you were talking about, starting stuff in college, exercising, running, and cleaner eating, it just had me sitting here being like, shit. Yeah. As someone who's dealt with mental health issues, I'm like, man, I wonder what I would feel like even taking care of one of those things. And it's always, of course, I'm not on the other end of the spectrum trying to be do these things and you'll never have mental health problems.
No. That's just not real.
Some people, say that. Correct. And they're like, it's just,
I think it can alleviate a lot. But no, if you have severe depression, I don't think eating more veggies is going to cure depression. But it'll, it is one of those self-care things that it's weird because, to be honest with you, if you think about it's a very obvious statement, but food is the basic thing that we need is food, in addition to probably sleep, I would say. Yeah. And if you deny it's weird that we, as Americans, or at least, my age group, I don't know if all American, but whatever, my generation, we were not really raised to think about the number one thing that gives us energy and fuel, and food is more like an obstacle than an interest to most people. I have to eat. I gotta get my breakfast. I gotta eat my lunch just so I can keep going. But you don't actually think about, well, what is in that lunch? What do I need to do later on today? What's gonna set me up to succeed throughout the rest of my day? Because if I wake up and I eat a like on the weekends, Elijah and I, which kind of into one of the other things we want to talk about is our like favorite foods, is Eggs Benedict. And I love Eggs Benedict, but it's a fatty meal. There's a lot of butter in it. A lot of carbs, a lot of like heavy meats, depending on what you put on it.
Yeah.
And it makes me sleepy. So no, I'm not gonna wake up before work and make that. I'm gonna have some avocado, some eggs, and whatever, just to like try to be light but energy at the same time. So it's just weird that like, our parents' generation, I think, was probably the same way, but we're in. There's generation as generation goes by, less and less people are actually interested in cooking. I was actually wanting to bring this up real quick before I see you like having things on your mind. I want to let you go, but there's an article on USA Today that cites some research from the Harvard Business Review that this particular guy, Eddie Yoon, did some research that stated, and this was 20 years before, I think 2007? I'm missing the dates as I skim through this article. Again, had this written down in my notes. Did not bring my notes with me, but in 1 year he conducted a survey that said 15% of people, Americans, said they liked to cook, 50% said they hated to cook, 35% are ambivalent about cooking. He conducted the same survey 15 years later, which I believe is early 2000s, dated the second one is, and that one was kind of even worse because only 10% of people said they liked to cook. 45% they outright hated it, which is a little bit better than 50%, but then 45% also said they were, again, ambivalent. So it's just like something that's kind of fading out of our culture, particularly as like you think we don't really have like a gastronomic culture in America. It's just a very amalgamation of the different cultures that came here.
Yeah, I think I really get what you're saying about just the whole narrative around food has gotten really messed up. Mm-hmm. I saw this thing on Facebook that was like, maybe who knows if this would work or not, but it's an interesting approach. Like, if you have a picky eater kid, to maybe just talk about, instead of saying, like, you have to eat this, be like, well, it's good to eat this food group because it helps your eyes or something. To just, like, spin it in a positive thing that doesn't make it...
Yeah.
But also, it's funny what you were saying about other cultures. Like, when you hear about other cultures... You always hear about how important food is.
To the history, the identity,
and like sharing meals and everything.
Yeah.
And it feels like that's slipping away.
Yes. And it's also just like not an activity that people do together really anymore. Mm-hmm. Some of my favorite times with my family, in particular, my mom was more of a baker in her family. Like I have more baking memories. Every Christmas we'd do all the cookies and everything. Mm-hmm. My mom was a single mom, so she didn't have a lot of time to cook for us. But when I was growing up, my grandfather on my dad's side and then my dad are also huge cooks. Mm-hmm. My grandpa, every Christmas we make potato sausage, and that's I believe it's Swedish, and it's something where we all just came together. He would get a meat grinder just for the day. It was a big family event, and that's just not something that a lot of families do together, where you literally take a day to get in the kitchen, put in some work, and then make a huge meal, and then at the end of that, share it. Yeah, and that is one of the most basic human things that we've done since the beginning of time, was gather food, prepare food, and then consume it together. And
and we're doing away with that.
We're doing away with it. It's really weird, and that's why, every chance I get, I try to just cook for people or share food.
I've definitely noticed that about you.
It's one of the things that makes me happy, is because especially, even when I was in college, I was really getting into food. It was something my dad and I really bonded over. I was a vegetarian at that time, which was a bit of a hurdle for 2 years.
Oh,
glossed
over that.
The Dave did not know how to handle it. I think even while I was a vegetarian for those years, I know I ate meat with him on multiple occasions, because I was also that person who's like, if you prepare me something, you put this blood and sweat into it, I'm gonna eat it, and also you don't want to waste food. That's a whole other goddamn rabbit hole. But yeah, and that was something my dad and I, our relationship, which not to get too serious, but between divorce and me growing up away from him in Wisconsin, him living in Michigan, it was a way where, you know, when our relationship was starting to be okay again and kind of get over some of that, like, childhood trauma, it was one of the ways we got to know each other again, was cooking and sharing all of that. And my dad is Grill Master 5000. 5,000. I also just called Elijah that the other day because he made brats on the grill. Grill Master 5,000. He was so proud. Oh, he's going to listen to... He's never going to listen to this. He doesn't love me that much. No, I'm just kidding. He definitely does. But he, like, my dad's total grill, like, loves doing ribs and blah blah blah, and just it was like a really good.
Well, I'm salivating while I'm listening to all of this.
I know. I'm realizing that I didn't eat dinner before we did the food podcast, which is a terrible idea. I drank instead, as you do.
I guess I just wanted to say a couple things quick.
Yeah.
A couple of negative things before we hopefully end positive.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about issues in society. Food is so messed up. I mean, one of the things I was thinking immediately is, you know, how messed up any other country will tell you our portions are.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that is messed up because however much you get at a restaurant or however much you get when you buy something is just somehow automatically how much you think you are supposed to have. And so that's one thing that was on my mind. And also just the lack of options for, like, some areas of, like, the inner city or something.
Yeah.
Where they don't, like, have, you know, if there's just a neighborhood that doesn't have access to just, like, actual good food.
And not only that, but, and you know, you'll read a shit ton of articles and bullshit out there that says organic isn't expensive. That's not true.
That's not true at all.
Blatantly untrue. And you know, most of your organic options too are in neighborhoods with, like, wealthy people who have who are, you know, upper class white. Like that is where, because they want, you know, they want to sell those at a higher price, and they know that the people in poor neighborhoods aren't going to have the money to buy those things, so why would they even put them there? But at the same time, that is a huge issue, and you get, like, poor people and generally suffer from this because then you develop health issues later on in life.
And then we get upset, like,
these
about
people
obesity and things like that, and it's like, well, they're eating what's there for them. They
develop health issues. They are poor, and then, you know, they can't afford their own health care either. So, and then you bitch about, you know, the fact that there's federal and state health care for those people, and it's like, well, then we need to fix our first. I think that if people genuinely hate state health insurance and federal health insurance, which, you know, I am all for, but if you hate it, you shouldn't be targeting that issue. You should be targeting the food industry as a whole, because
we're never looking at the root of it.
You're never looking at the root of it. You're just bitching because you think somebody's getting handouts and you feel entitled to something that, fuck you. I don't know. You've never had to deal with issues in your life. Seriously, is my you know general feeling on that. Not to get too political, but it's like, if people need health care and they need access to something that's going to make them healthy, keep them healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, let's make it so that, like, in a perfect world, you wouldn't have to help people because they would already be healthy because you've already given them
good food,
what they need.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. I think that just to, like, as a takeaway, like, positive note ending though, which I'm really excited to do the series on food because I do love cooking so much.
Yeah.
I cook as much as I possibly can, which is very hard as a, you know, doing stand-up comedy and working full-time.
Yeah.
But it, you know, I really do, and I'm not super aficionado cook. I'm pretty bare bones, actually, when you meet other people who, especially, like, I've met people who are maybe, like, 10 years older than myself. I'm 25, so they're like more established and blah, 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 and the things that they can cook and the things that they can do are things that I aspire to be able to do. And I want on this podcast to, one, maybe introduce Dana to some new foods that she maybe hasn't had before. She just broke out in sweat and hives. And then two is, you know, if there's anybody listening and you have really good, if there's anybody out there there, if there's one person in the universe listening to Sweet Little Ladies, if you're a sweet little lady and you're a sweet little cook, and you have some really good recipes, maybe you could email us your recipe.
And we could try to fucking make it.
And we could try to fucking make it. And we'll take photos and we'll post them to the Instagram.
Oh my god.
It'll be super...
That's a really good idea.
Super cool. And especially if you're somebody, in particular, then just on that note, if you're somebody who's like, this is my family recipe, we'll probably not do it service, but if you can share some of your family history... If I'm involved,
we will not do it.
Actually, I'm not going to cook it all. I'm going to give Dana an ingredient list, 50.
Oh my god.
Send her to a pick and save that doesn't have half the ingredients.
Watch
Speaking of access.
Like, tell me to make something. Yeah. Watch me flail and just, like, crash and burn.
Yeah.
And then think to yourself, oh my god. And imagine what she would have done if she'd never even seen Chopped. Like, yeah, I'm a big fan of Chopped.
Oh, hell yeah.
But I still don't know jack shit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And it never goes right. You gotta do it like 80 times to be good at it.
But you know what? Don't fucking bleed in the food. And get all the ingredients on the plate.
Yeah.
Ted told you, you know? It's just like...
I don't know that show that well.
Oh, Raegan.
I was just gonna be like, it's fucking raw! Gordon Ramsay. Kitchen Nightmares, baby. That's, yeah.
There's
we didn't even talk about
shows.
kitchen. We're gonna have so many food podcasts. I'm so excited. All right.
But Raegan,
yeah, Dana,
can I ask you, right before we go, just name a couple favorite foods / like maybe like one dope restaurant.
Actually, 2 things. Right before we do that, we have to do our tip of the week.
Oh,
on how to get laid. If you're a man and you're watching this podcast and you don't think it is for you,
well, you're not watching it, but
or you're any gender and you just don't think that this particular podcast is for you because of, you know, calling it Sweet Little Ladies, we want to give you some tips on how to get laid. No matter who you are, no matter who you're trying to fuck, you can get laid if you know, if you just drink enough and I don't know. This is terrible. Yeah, I was getting into territory.
I guess what I would say is if you just like...
What's a food-related one?
Light a couple candles.
Put
a nice tablecloth on the table. Some incense.
Yes. Appropriate amount of alcohol where everyone is still in their right minds.
Yeah,
let's say
absolutely.
That. Yeah.
And couple cheesy ends.
And a couple cheesy ends. Oh man, if a man made me a cheesy Anna, to be honest with you, I'm gonna tell Elijah about the cheesy Anna, see if he makes me one. I feel like that would be for sure. Like he could do that for sure. He made Eggs Benedict once by himself. I was really proud. He did a great job.
It was good.
It was very good.
Like chef's kiss. Keegan's never made me that, but he did order Domino's once and light candles, and that was like
Domino's and candles.
Love you, babe.
Love you, babe. Awesome. Okay, yeah, and then favorite foods really quick. Favorite breakfast food: Eggs Benedict. Favorite lunch, I'm just going to do these 100% rapid fire, is Mediterranean salad. Yeah, like love me a little quinoa.
I did quinoa.
Yeah.
I fuck with quinoa.
You fuck with quinoa?
I fuck with it.
I also just love bread, period. But favorite dinner that I've made recently, because I probably can't really tell you like whatever, but all time, but I recently made ziti for the first time. I don't know how I had never made ziti, but I made it and it was amazing. I didn't do it completely right, but I'm so excited to make it again. And I got my recipe off of Serious Eats. They have a good ziti recipe on seriouseats.com, so check that out if you're into cooking.
Nice. Yeah. And listen, I'm not even going through all that. I just want to shout out to Vanguard.
Vanguard
sausages.
Local listeners, get your butts into Vanguard. Best handmade sausage and fucking creative, different like themes and spices. That
shouldn't work, but they do.
Fucking great. Poutine for days. All right, this has been Sweet Little Ladies Podcast. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah, we will.
Bye.
Bye.